Welcome back. We will be picking up here on video 4 of the MS house. In the last video, part 3, we talked about importing the 2D Sims block file, exploding it, and choosing appliances to utilize throughout our home. In this particular video, we are going to continue talking about part 3, where we're going to focus a little bit more on things like in the kitchen. You can see we've got some information about our cabinetry, upper cabinets, our cabinets on the wall, countertops and cabinets below are about 24 inches deep. So we have a little notation here, and we'll talk about these upper cabinets here shortly. We also will have additional items to place, like a countertop here in the bathroom. We have stairs being shown here. I'll show you how to do that. We have closet rods and shelves to put in the closets in particular locations. So let's start making our way through, and let's start off with a closet rod and shelf. And so you can see there are 2 lines here, and unfortunately on this document they're not shown properly, so we'll talk about adjusting that. And if we zoom in here on this particular example here, we can see that there is a first line which is 12 inches from the back wall of the closet, and a second line that is approximately 18 inches from the back wall of the closet. The 12-inch line is supposed to be hidden, and that should represent the clothes rod. That would be what you're going to hang a hanger on in a closet. And the line 18 inches from the back wall is going to represent a shelf that might be in our closet above, usually the closet rod, where we can put things on a shelf. So let's do those first. So we're going to go out to our AutoCAD file, and let's just go right here in this particular example, just like we had on the part 3 document, and let's take a look at our layers. And I am looking for a shelf and a shelf rod, and I don't currently see one. So what we're going to start with is how to make a new layer. Now, we could certainly utilize one of these other layers, but again, it's beneficial for us to have a layer to represent what it is that we're controlling. So I'm going to go and select this Layers Properties button, and it should open up this window for us. Okay, we've seen this before in a previous video. And what I'm going to do is, I can see if I scroll down here, I'm currently on the wall layer. Okay, and if we take a look here, there are some lines that are kind of already set up. We have a center line here up here in construction. Cancel out of that. We have a hidden line here for a wall hid. I'm going to base my new layer off of this existing hidden one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double left click on that layer. That makes it active. We can see that with the green check mark. And then I'm going to go up here to New Layer. Okay, when I click on New Layer, it uses the layer that I was just on as the basis. So what I should be able to do here is rename it, and I'm going to make this Closet Rod. I don't have my caps lock on. Closet Rod. And I can choose a color by simply clicking on the color, and I'm gonna make it that green or that cyan color, blue-green thing. Right? And the important part here is that I have a line type, and you can see when I click on the line type, we have a couple different options for hidden. I don't know which one of these is going to work out best, but we'll find out. But if we wanted to change it, we can come in here and do so. So let's just go and select stand. No, we'll leave it at hidden 2 for now. So we're going to say OK, and I now have a new layer here. So let's go and insert that. Actually, yeah, let's go and insert that. Where's my window? I'm going to close that down. And I have Closet Rod active. So if I didn't have that new layer, and you see it organize it alphabetically, I don't have that Closet Rod active, I can certainly turn that layer on. And then I'm going to go get a line. And I can draw it in, or if we continue to use an option or a modify option from a previous activity, I'm going to use offset. And I'm going to offset this line 12 inches offset. My number lock wasn't on. 12 inches. There's my pick box. Offset that line 12 inches. Okay. And while I'm here, I'm going to use the offset command again, and this time I'm going to do 18 inches. I'm going to offset this line 18 inches forward. So what I've just created here is a closet that I believe is going to be going in a bedroom, and in that closet, I'm going to have a closet rod. So I'm going to put that on the closet rod layer. Closet rod. Okay, and we can see those are very small dashes. I think those are too small, and so we may have to adjust some things. So we're going to go back into our layer properties, because I also want to make a new layer for the closet shelf. So I'm going to go back into layers, and we're currently on hidden 2, and that looks pretty big. If I go smaller, let's see what that looks like. Oh, it's almost solid. Okay, so I'm going to do an undo. There we go. When I undo there, it went right back to my existing line type. Okay, so I'm going to have to do a different thing to adjust those dashes to look proper. But right now, I also want to make a closet shelf. And I think I'm just going to make a new layer based off of the current layer I have. And I'm going to call it closet shelf. Okay. And I don't know, what color am I going to make that? I'm going to make that yellow. No, that one. That kind of sickly green. And I'm going to change the layer to continuous. So that should be a solid line. And so again, I made a new layer for our closet shelf. And I'm going to select that line, and I'm going to put it on that layer. Apparently I did shelf with 2 F's. You can go back and change that. Okay, so we've added some new layers. So that was new, and we have a line type here that is not properly sized. I think we'll address that maybe in another video. But you know what? We should do it right now, right? So right now, the scale of our line isn't really visible, right? If I zoom out enough, that's going to look like a solid line. So there's a command called LT scale. Okay, which is our line type scale. And if I go into that, you'll see just by typing LT scale, hitting enter, the scale factor is at 1. I'm going to say, let's make it 12. Okay, and now you can see that the dash size is much larger. Now that may work out okay. I may need to make it smaller, but right now that I can actually see that dashed line. Okay. So Control S if you got one of those in, and we've got a closet rod and shelf, and you'll need to place those in the closets throughout the floor plan. And again, if we take a look, there's a front closet here, there's another closet here in the bedroom, another closet in this bedroom, and then we have this closet here, which I would call that a linen closet in the hallway. Okay, so that might be a bunch of shelves. I have another closet here in the bathroom. And again, that might be a bunch of shelves for storage and towels and things like that. It looks like there's another one here in the pantry, like a pantry in the kitchen. Okay, so again, those are shelves, and they could be the 18 inches from the back wall. They may also be a little bit smaller, like in the case of the pantry here. Okay. Now, let's continue down. Let's go to the stairs here. Show you another command. And we see here a notation about the stairs being 10 inches apart. Okay, so they're just horizontal lines representing stairs at approximately 10 inches each. So let's put those in next. So I'm going to see if I have a stair layer. Oh, I do. Look at that. I have a stair layer, and I'm going to select that layer to start. And to make my life easy, I am going to come in here with a line, and I am going to draw it from one edge to the other. Okay. So that is the beginning of my stair. Again, let's take a look at our example. I just drew in this first line. And you can see there I left that white on top of the wall. We'll adjust that here in a second after I show you a new command called array. Okay, so if we go to the array command, which we have right here, we have a drop down. We see that we have a rectangular array, we have a path array. or a polar array. I'm going to try the path array. Let's see how that works. Okay, I'm going to select this line I just put in. Select it, and then it wants to know a path. I'm going to use this line as the path. Okay, and then it wants to know kind of the distance between them. And you can see here, I have a drag arrow that would allow me to bring these in to an unknown distance. Okay, so here it says specify the distance between lines. Does that mean I can just type in 10 inches? It sure does. Okay, you see that? And it did this nice path for me right off the bat. Now, the downside to this is looks like there's a stair right on the wall, the edge of the wall, as the stairs go down. And I have this one up here, and I can't really modify all of that together. Okay, so you could certainly use that array command, but I'm going to do an undo. And our other alternative is use the offset command at 10 inches and just work our way down so we don't have all those lines being locked together. Okay, so you can do that either way you see fit. Okay, but again, what I'm going to try to avoid is this one right here where I've got my white line on top of, let's redo that, have my white line on top of the wall. If I select that, see, I'm only getting the red line there, or the wall line. And I also have one up here that in theory I should trim, okay, like we did there. And again, it's a bad habit to have a line on top of a line. So what I could do if I have a hard time selecting it is use those layers. And if I turn off my wall layer, that's not the right wall layer, this wall layer very quickly, we can see that I have that line that I can select by itself, delete it, and then turn that wall layer back on. Okay, Control S. So we want to put in stairs, and those should be about 10 inches apart. While we're at it, we've got the stairs in, we've got a closet rod and shelf. Let's talk about the countertop here, right? I've got a countertop here for a couple of sinks, and here's where we get into this a little bit of a questionable area, okay? What I'm going to start with is the depth of a countertop. Now, the depth of a countertop in a kitchen is usually about 25 inches, okay? It's slightly more than 2 feet. Usually, a vanity, okay, which is what they call the countertop and cabinetry in a bathroom, is narrower, not as deep, okay? So that might be something like 20 to 22 inches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the offset command rather than just redraw something, and I'm going to offset 24 inches. I'm going to take this back line, because I already know where that is, and I offset it forward. And look at that. That actually looks like that would work out okay. Okay. However, I don't think 24 is what I want to use. I'm going to use the offset 22 inches. Okay, so I'm going to offset that 22 inches, and that gives me the depth of my countertop, except the countertop is going the entire length of the bathroom right now. And if we take a look at our example, we're going to need a toilet in here, but a toilet does need a specific size or space around it, something you might not have thought about. And I'm going to kind of pick a distance here. Maybe this is 5 feet or 6 feet from the door when you come in. So let's go take a look. In the real world, we would probably decide specifically where we want things. I'm going to offset here. Let's go 5 feet. I'm going to take this line and offset it up 5 feet. Okay, that looks pretty short, so maybe not 5 feet. So I'll select that and delete it. Let's offset, let's make it 7 feet. Set that line up. That looks a little bit more like the example. Let's go take a look. Yeah, kind of about in the middle of the tub there. I think 7 feet's the solution. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the fillet command with a radius of 0. I'm going to trim those two lines up. And then, do I have a countertop layer? I have a cabinet layer. Do I have a countertop? So I'm going to make a new layer. And I'm going to base this on the cabinet layer. And I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to call it Ctop. Okay. We don't know whether or not there's anything underneath this countertop in a plan view, unless there's some additional information given to us. But we'll make the assumption that there is cabinetry below. Okay. So I could use the casework layer. I'm going to use the Ctop layer because why not practice making a new layer? I'm going to make the countertop orange. Okay. Again, you can choose to do what you want with these layers. It is your drawing. The important part is that by using layers, we can keep things on a different layer and therefore apply or turn them off as necessary. So there's my countertop. All right. So we talked about putting up shelves and rods in the bathrooms. You know what? Let's just do another quick offset here. Let's do 2 feet. Let's offset this forward 2 feet. This is going to be a shelf, closet shelf. Okay. Again, I want to do that around various locations. But let's real quick talk about the kitchen, because that's kind of the last big option for us to worry about. And so we see this example here where we're being shown 12 inches from the back wall is this line, which should be our upper cabinets or our wall cabinets, and 2 feet or 25 inches from the wall would be our countertop location. Let's just verify. Let's go back over to our instructions. And you can see here we've got 12-inch deep upper cabinets. Technically, the countertops are 25 inches, but 24 inches will work just fine. And the big thing here is the upper cabinets are shown hidden because they are above where we can actually see. And the cabinets below on this particular floor plan, we're not going to see any specific stuff. So again, I'm going to use the offset command. I'm going to go 25 inches to be accurate. And I'm going to offset this line 25 inches out. I'm going to offset this line 25 inches out. You can see here at 25-inch extension, it's a little bit past my wall. So maybe that's why I said 24 inches. So let's try 24 inches. Let's see what that one looks like. Yeah, that's a little bit more accurate. We wouldn't want that sticking out and being a place where we could catch our waist along the edge of a countertop. So we're going to make that 24. In this application, that inch is going to make a huge, big deal. Now, I'm going to use that fill command again, and I'm going to trim these 2 lines up. And then I have to decide where my countertop ends. And again, if we look at our example, it looks like there's a refrigerator over here. And it looks like that refrigerator is kind of close to that door opening. So let's go over to our appliances, and I like this. This looks like a side-by-side refrigerator to me. Maybe this is the refrigerator you used. We'll use something different. Let's use this one today. We're going to bring this down here to our floor plan, and I'm going to turn off ortho, and I'm going to put it right there on the edge, and then I'm going to rotate. I think we've used rotate before, but let's practice. I'm going to use the rotate command. I'm going to select the object. I'm going to rotate it from that point that I attached it to. I'm going to turn on ortho so it is 90 degrees. And now that block is appropriately spaced. Now, usually there's a little bit of space behind the refrigerator. So if I select this and then drag this down, and I type in like 1 inch and hit enter, you see there's now a space there between the back of the fridge and the wall. And now I'm just going to grab this and kind of drag it over, I don't know, to maybe about there. Maybe that's where my refrigerator is going to live. Again, there's not an exact placement on that unless we want to be exact. Okay, so again, since there's no specific dimension given to you, that's what we'll assume is okay. And while I'm here, I'm going to put this on the Ctop layer. And I'm going to now draw on the Ctop layer. So I'm going to select that layer, make it active. I'm going to draw a line from, I don't know, right about there to the wall. And I'm going to fill it, this line and that line. And then I'm going to trim that away, complete the remainder. So relatively quickly, I get an idea on, hey, there's my countertop, and below it are some cabinets. Again, in other drawing files, we would specify what exactly is going on down there. But for our purposes today, we've got a representation of a countertop. Last one is the upper cabinets. Maybe you can see here that the upper cabinets don't go over the top of our sink. So I guess probably should worry about getting a sink in our kitchen countertop. So let's see here. What am I feeling like? I don't like these big double basin ones. We're going to use this one today. I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to wake my way down. I'm not going to turn off ortho this time because I can use the midpoint on my window. And that's where I'm going to put my sink. And generally, sinks in kitchens are right in front of a window. So you're not staring at a blank wall while you might be standing there doing dishes. Okay. So again, I use the rotate command there a little bit. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to move it down an inch again. And in theory, that sink would be kind of centered in the countertop, something like that. Okay. So now I want to do upper cabinets or wall cabinets. So I have this casework layer, and we want that layer to be hidden. So maybe I'm going to make the casework layer active, and maybe this time I'm going to make that casework not continuous but hidden. Right? Is this one hidden too? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to make that casework hidden, and we'll close that layer. And again, I'm going to use the offset command, 12 inches this time. I'm going to offset that line out and this line out. And I'm going to fillet those two together again. And it is quite possible that I have a cabinet up above my refrigerator. So in this case, I'm going to trim this line right about there so my cabinet doesn't go beyond that. Now, it helps if I was having that on the casework layer. There's my headline. Okay. And then I need to decide where the cabinets will end, because again, we really can't put cabinets in front of the window. And so, maybe I'll draw out from here. What is this? 1'4". 1'4" to the left. And I'll draw a line here. 1'4" to the right. And then I'm going to bring these up into the wall from there. And I'm going to get rid of some of the confusion, right? That could have been kind of confusing for you. So I just drew from the center of the drain in our sink. I went 1'4", so 12 plus 4 is 16 inches to the left and 16 inches to the right. And this is where I'm going to need to trim that line. So I have two separate lines, and then I'm going to use the fillet command and fillet those two together. And then I probably need to come in and trim those lines. And those are showing that the cabinets go back into the wall. Okay. So again, nothing really earth-shattering. Drawing some lines using the offset command in conjunction with some blocks that we may or may not have had placed. And if you've set all that up, make sure you do a quick save. And our goal, again, in this particular activity is to get our part 3s pretty much looking like this example here. All right. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time.